And I'm seeing it. It's visible. It's black and white. Compare my life to 2014 to right now. A world of difference. Everything about it has completely changed. All right. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo, and we got a lot of people on the call today. So I want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day, a few minutes out of your busy week to recalibrate and recommit to the things we have to do. Now, a few thoughts came to mind over the last few days of what I wanted to talk about today. And that's something that I always take a lot of effort. I put a lot of time and effort and intention behind what I'm going to discuss because I understand how important your time is, right? And my goal is to simply put a little nugget out there for you that you can grab and run with it, right? To make your week more successful, to make your life more productive, to make your business more profitable. And with that, a lot of that comes from my own experiences of what I learned about life, what life is teaching me, where I'm going, what obstacles I have to overcome. And one of the things that came to mind was, how I brought this whole thing of, personal development into real estate, and how it was not the norm for brokerages to do that, because it just wasn't. It was more geared around the skill set of the agent, right? Where are the scripts? Where's the dialer? Where are the leads? Like, work on the skill set. And yet, there's a big problem in our industry that only a small fraction of agents are actually successful. Very small, right? It's said that, the top 5% make like 95% of the money or 90% of the money. And that's a problem. That means most agents are struggling, or they hit a plateau. They hit certain numbers and then they stop. Their businesses goes awry, right? It goes off the path. And my thing was there's got to be a problem in that. There's got to be a problem in that. And one of the things that I started realizing is that it's not necessarily the business that's the problem, right? It's the personal issues that are disguised as the problem, right? So again, it's not, many businesses problems are their own business or their own personal problems disguised, right? Disguised in the fact that it's all in the business, which it isn't. And one of the things that I realize is it's my mindset and how I approach the game that has made me, well, I would say successful to this point, right? Now, is there people that are more successful? Absolutely. But the way I look at it, right? Because I always have to feed my mind positivity. I always got to make sure that I'm fired up every morning. Now, if I start comparing myself to others that are doing it much heavier, much better, and much more profitable and much greater, I would feel like a small being. I would feel like, what's the point? But what I do is often compare of where I started from. And when we do that, it really starts igniting that fire to realize, wow, I didn't realize I was capable of this. And it starts with the mindset, but more than that, it starts with the conditioning of the mindset, not necessarily the skill set. Because we could have great realtors out there, but here's the problem. Great realtors are broke. Great business owners, great marketers, people that understand that they have to be great beings, great people, are wealthy and rich and more profitable. And when we start looking at these type of behaviors, we have to analyze our own. And how do we condition our mindset? And a lot of our success is a state of mind. It's that old cliche, right? Success is a state of mind. And the reality is, where your mind goes, your results will soon follow. But what people don't understand, that in order to create a better business, and if you're in pursuit of that, a greater business, right? You want to be able to sell more real estate, or you want to hit that $5 million of sales a year, or 10 million, 15 million, 20, and it seems so elusive. I think it has to be with the fact that it's not necessarily the business is the problem, it's the personal issues disguised as a business problem, right? But we first have to create a better business owner. So that means you have to better yourself. And again, this begins with a conditioning process of learning how to win, how to overcome obstacles, how to be able to navigate through what seems like huge predicaments and worries and difficulties to overcome the stresses and challenges of your business, because we all face them. Now, the reason why we have $10 million producers, $50 million producers, $100 million producers is because they understand how to navigate through those difficulties. They're able to turn it up when the issues are turned up, when it seems like everything is turned not in their favor, but against them. They're able to just know that it's only a matter of time before they withstand that obstacle, because the obstacle only has so much momentum. And that's the way I look at it, right? The resistance only has so much conviction before they go on to the next person. And if we were to kind of personalize, right, or personify an obstacle, it's like they will run over you. If it was a person or if it was an actual thing, right, this resistance, they don't want the resistance coming back to them. They would rather give you that resistance, and then if you put up too much of a fight, they're going to go to someone else. And that's the way I see it. I think of it as short term. I'm going to outwit the resistance. I'm going to outfight it. I'm going to outmaneuver it. I'm going to out-tolerate the pain, right? And that's what makes successful boxers the way they are, or successful MMA fighters. They're able to withstand greater pain. They're able to withstand, greater issues that come their way. And when you start thinking about it like that, we have to start thinking about how we condition the mind. And I start looking at what I've done physically, all right, for myself, doing things that I never thought I would do, like an Ironman 70.3. I never thought I would train for such a thing. I didn't know how to swim, so teaching myself how to swim. I didn't think I was a runner until I became a runner. I didn't think I was a cyclist until I became a cyclist, putting in thousands and thousands of miles. I started thinking about the mindset that I get into. And as I start putting this together for you, okay, because I do want to make a point here, right? And the point is, like, if you can't do this, you will never get that. And the reason I'm bringing up the 70.3 and the reason I'm bringing up the short-term wins for yourself to condition your mind is because that's going to allow you to withstand those issues. So for me, even working out, right? Working out. And one of the things that I noticed I did is I take my short-term goal of what I want to achieve, whether it's a personal goal, whether it's a business goal, and I put that as the prize that I want to get to. And I go ahead and make that as a possibility, like it's going to happen if. It's going to happen if. And what I do is, for example, just last week, we were doing these exercises, and Carla has us doing like high reps, 20 reps of anything. I mean, you're going to get fatigued. And I noticed that I was going through this process of the Bulgarian squats. For those of you that know what that is, if you don't, look it up. It's a pain in the, it's hard. Bulgarian squats are hard. And what I found myself doing is I knew I had to do 20, but I was mentally fatigued of trying to get to that number. So after 5 or 6, I would pause because it was too much. Once I would get to 10, I'm like, holy crap, I still have 10 more to do. So I would stop. And then I would stop at 15, 17, and I would finally get it done, and I was exhausted. But I realized that is all a mindset, right? Like many of you. What I've told you about your business, in order to become more confident and become the authority, is you got to convey a message. You got to convey a message powerfully. And some of you start that out, one video, right? And the game is you got to do a video every day. For what? So you can become more confident. And after 2 days, 3 days, you're like, oh, this is too tough. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to do. And some of you are stuck. You're like, how am I going to do a video every day for a month? Well, you start with the first one. As opposed to thinking about 30 subjects to talk about, you start with the first one. So one of the things that I start doing is I have this big goal in mind, a personal goal or a business goal. And I ingrain it in whatever I'm doing right now. And it's a funny thing that happens because we have so much control with our mind. And if you can do this, you can do anything, essentially, right? You can overcome any obstacle that comes your way, any problem, any frustration. So what I started doing is I started incorporating that personal or that business goal into the actual workout. How do I do that? I said, if I can't do these 20 Bulgarian squats in a row, there's no way I'm going to go ahead and get this goal that I want for my life. I tied it in. Does it really matter? Is there really a correlation? Maybe not. But I have to play these mind games with myself in order to overcome these obstacles, these frustrations. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people hit a plateau at 5 million or at 10 million, is that they can't overcome those frustrations or those obstacles fast enough because their vision is not on the goal and they're not tying it into the current obstacle. And it's an amazing thing that happens. As soon as I tied it in, if I really want this personal goal, I got to be able to at least do this. And when I incorporate it that way, guess what? 20 in a row without stopping. Was it painful? Absolutely. But my resolve and my conviction was greater because I saw the vision on the other side. Because what I'm doing there is conditioning myself. Because in order to get this obstacle, to get this goal or this vision that I have, I know there's going to be a set of problems that are going to try to throw me off, that are going to try to exhaust me, that are going to try to make me feel like I can't do it. Just like the Bulgarian squats I was doing before, I actually tied it in. At 5, I was tired. At 10, I was fatigued. At 15, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But as soon as I put that goal there, I tied it in. If I can't do these 20 Bulgarians, how in the hell am I going to accomplish that? And it worked. And it works. The same thing I did when I was out running and cycling. If I can't keep going, how am I going to achieve this business goal? So that was what kept me going. And sometimes we don't see our own behaviors. We don't see that if we quit on our exercises, if we quit in a dispute at home, right? By shutting down. If we quit when it gets tough, there is no way you're going to be able to accomplish that big goal. There's no way you're going to hit $20 million in sales. Zero chance. Because if you can't do this, there is no way you will do that, period. So I saw one of the other guys struggling. One of the guys I was working with in a DTW challenge. Same thing, doing the Bulgarian squats with weight, right? And this is after doing squats. So it's a superset. So it's not like we're just getting out there, fresh legs, and we're doing it. No, it's none of that. Carla is beating us down, mentally fatiguing us, physically fatiguing us. So I saw another guy do that. Same thing for him. He was probably going through the same thing I was. Holy shit, this is tiring. Oh my God, how am I going to get this? I'm only 7 reps into it. I still have 13 left. I'm only halfway through. Oh my God, it was so tough for the first half. I could only imagine the second half. Let me take a pause. Let me rest. And I look at him and say, hey, I need you to try something for me. I need you to try something for me. Because right now it seems like you can't get through this without pausing, without hesitating. I said, what do you want for your business? What do you want for your... I need you to think about something and make it very, very clear. He says, all right, I got it. I say, do you have it? Is it in your mind? He says, yes, I do. All right. I said, if you don't get through these 20 Bulgarian squats, again, this is after doing, deep squats on weight, heavy weight. I said, if you can't do these 20 Bulgarian squats, there's no way you're going to be able to achieve that goal that you just have in your mind. I don't need to know about it. He says, all right. And he got through 20 on his first leg and 20 on the other leg. 40 reps. When the very set before, when he had more energy, more strength, typically, right? Because the longer you go, you're supposed to get more fatigued. How is it that he's able to accomplish it on the third set versus the second and the first set? Because it's a mindset. It's a conditioning of the mind to overcome. Once you understand that principle, once I understood that, I was like, holy shit, there's nothing I can't do. Just give me some time. And listen, I don't have to get there fast. I just need to see improvement every single day. And I'm seeing it. It's visible. It's black and white. Compare my life to 2014 to right now. A world of difference. Everything about it has completely changed. Because I understand that success is a state of mind. And if I can't do these simple little things, there's no way I'm ever going to get that. And whatever you're going through, I want you to start taking that approach. At the moment, it's hard to roll out of bed because a deal fell through, because a client decided to go with another agent to list their home. At the moment you feel that failure, if you can't get your ass back up, I need you to think about that. If you can't get through this, there's no way you're going to be able to get that. Then always remain a $3 million producer. Then be okay with remaining a $5 million producer or a 10. Always be okay with just barely paying your bills and stressing about where the next check is coming from. Or you could do something about it. And that is condition your mind to push through. Because this little obstacle, because it is, in the grand scheme of things, man, you're acting childish. I was acting like a little, couldn't get through these Bulgarian squats. Why? Because I wanted to complain. I wanted to show everybody through the grimace in my eyes and in my face, my facial gestures, how hard it is. Why? Why do I want sympathy? I need to get through this powerfully. And in order to do that, I need to tell myself, reinforce the mind that I am greater than the obstacle before me, greater than the frustration, greater than the pain before me. That's the game. That's why players move at the level that they do. So you want that $5 to $10 million increase in your business? Then quit acting like a $5 million producer and quitting every time you start seeing the success or the failure. Some quit when they're getting too successful because it's out of their norm, and some quit because it's too hard. Whatever you're doing, I need you to stop. There was this joke that we got running, right? And see, my visions are so clear. Both my personal goals and my business goals, they're so clear that now I understand the game of life. If I have this clarity with what I want, opportunities come from different directions. But it's meant to get me to that place, to that promised land, right? Which is my goal, my target. So I don't take any of that for granted because I know opportunities are supposed to come to me. It's not luck. It's not extra money. It's to get me to that goal. Here's the problem. And I know we joke about it. And the guys that the ones that I had conversations with this about, you know what I'm talking about. I know we're just joking about it. But when your vision is so strong, opportunities will come in ways that you never thought were possible, right? Because you reinforce the mind. Things are going to go your way. There's no way you can do the right things every day and get the wrong result, period. We know that. I've said it 1,000 times. But we got to be able to look at our own behaviors as well. So you have this big goal, personal goal or business goal. I want to get to so many millions of sales, or I want to get this house, or I want to save so much money. Here lies the problem. It's not clear enough. And we misinterpret these opportunities as extra money. I see this all the time. And I think that's the main reason why $5 million producers remain at $5 million. $7 million producers remain at $7 million. And it doesn't matter how far the prices increase, somehow they'll manage a way to only sell $7 million, which is mind-blowing to me. I don't get it. How is it that you're able to sell $7 million in a $300,000 market or $250,000 market, and yet only sell $7 million in a $400,000 to $500,000 market? I don't get that. But somehow we just get to that point. And the reason is because whenever opportunities come on our lap or in our vision, we misinterpret it as, that must be extra money. So we treat it as that. I wasn't expecting this listing, so I can go buy this thing that I've been wanting. Or I could go spend it, or I can go gamble it. I can go on this trip. Because I wasn't expecting it, because my game plan said I was supposed to do this amount during this month, so I'm going to consider this extra money. What you misinterpreted was that was the stepping stone to get you to 10 million, not the 5 million that you wrote down on your target. That was the exact stepping stone, that listing that you weren't expecting, that $2 million buyer that you weren't expecting because you're not used to dealing with $2 million buyers. So now it's extra money. When in fact, that was the stepping stone to the next level. But because there isn't a conditioning process of expecting abundance, we sabotage ourselves. There was a situation that came about. There was an opportunity that came out of left field. Some of the guys knew about it. They're like, oh, that's extra money. It's like, you don't get it. Everything that I do is part of the pot. I expect these opportunities to come out of left field because I'm doing the right things every single day. And just like we had the wrong mindset about the frustrations that come our way, we sometimes have the wrong mindset of the abundance that comes our way. It is not extra. It's part of the pot. So now you start acting like a $10 million producer, a $20 million producer. You don't cap yourself at $7 million, at $10 million. Because it's all part of the game. And that's why it's so important that we understand our own behaviors. Because here's one thing that I was having a conversation this morning with one of my friends. And the conversation comes of dynasty. And when we look up dynasty, and I'm going to do that here quickly because I wasn't planning on bringing this up. Dynasty, I love that we have all information at our fingertips. Dynasty, a line of hereditary rulers of a country or a succession of people from the same family who play a prominent role in business, politics, or that's not the definition I was looking for. Hold on. Other ways of dynasty, right? Which is a sequence, a series of numbers of distinguished success, wealth, etc., right? And it's hereditary. Part of this is hereditary, right? It's passed down from generation to generation to create a dynasty, a sequence of rulers from the same family, stock, or group, right? So we all have these dynasties, whether it's a good dynasty or not. We're all part of a dynasty, a generational passing of information and wealth or lack of wealth, a generation of passing of information, of wisdom or lack thereof, right, is a dynasty. But here lies the problem. A lot of us are part of this dysfunctional dynasty, right? We just weren't taught the right things early on. And it's not our parents' fault. It's not our grandparents' fault. And maybe it is. I don't know. It all depends on how we interpret it. But I looked at personal development as a personal responsibility, that I cannot no longer pass these dysfunctions over to the next generation. I'm going to stop that dysfunctional dynasty and begin a dynasty of great behaviors, of powerful mindsets. And it begins with being able to correlate what you want with the challenge in hand. And guess what? We have the biggest burdens on our shoulders, on our back, because we have to break the patterns of many generations before us. Hundreds, if not thousands of years of these dysfunctions that were passed on from one generation to the next. We have the greater fight. And those that you see at an elite level, where there's generations of wealth, they figured things out. They figured out how to do the right things. And it typically comes down to the mindset, on the approach, how to overcome problems and obstacles and worries. They know how to do that. And they've passed that on from generation to generation, while others are left wondering how in the hell they do it. These dysfunctional dynasties is something we have to be aware of. And we have a greater fight. And my job is to correct those, is to right those wrongs, right? So that my kids are no longer having to deal with that. So guess what's going to happen with their growth and prosperity? Guess what's going to happen with their mindset? They're going to shoot through the moon. Because it comes down to self-development. And the simple principle, you want a better business, you got to be a better business owner. And if you can't get through this small thing, you'll never get to that. So which is it? What's holding you back? I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. I know there's a couple comments. I want to go ahead and read that. So if you can bring that to the middle of the screen. Jason, those thoughts that are running through your head that make you not want to get out to write them down, read them out loud afterwards to see yourself, see how it sounds, and I bet you will think you sound weak, and then you will get fired up and want to get out of bed. Absolutely, right? And it's the mindset. It's the own mental battle. It's the fight that goes between our ears, and it's something that we have to be aware of. You can't get a better business until you become a better business owner. You can't have a marriage on fire until you become a better husband or wife, right? You can't feel good until you start taking care of yourself. There's a process to this. Mind tricks have been an important key ingredient in helping me reach my certain goals. For example, when I'm struggling to finish a workout set and ready to give up, I tell myself I cannot reach for a drink of water until I complete my set. Works every time. Absolutely, right? Because there's a reward. There's got to be a reward. And there's got to be a consequence. If I can't do this, there's no way I'm going to get that. So I can't expect that and feel entitled. I need to do the work. I need to put my foot first, my best foot first. Then maybe there's a possibility of achieving that. Then and only then it becomes a possibility. Ashley, Edgar Martin, I do the same. Amazing what mind can convince the body to achieve. And it works on all elements of life. So let's get on it. So as you face challenges this week, if you can't get through this, you won't get that. Thank you again for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.